Enhance your experience by becoming a supporting member. Gain access to unseen videos and video requests. 3-day free trial by visiting zionmembership.com. Chosen ones, empaths, you may not entirely agree with this, or maybe you've had a different experience with the narcissist involved in your life, and I'd like to hear about that in the comment section, if you have. But what I think narcissists involved in your life do to you is, initially, they make you feel quite secure. They make you feel quite complete. This is the love bomb. This is the love bomb. But they do make you feel quite complete, quite secure. That it gives off that soulmate effect. And like I always said, it doesn't have to be romantic relationships. It could be friendships, family members, colleagues, associates. But generally speaking, narcissists involved in your life do give off that effect where you feel at peace with them. You feel they're trusted. You genuinely feel that in your heart, right? But what they'll do, maybe very subtly, is they'll start to cause confusion in you, but you're so indoctrinated, if that's the right word, to the way that they treated you before during the love bomb, that this puts you in like a spell of confusion. So let me just give an example. They could have been really kind to you, really loving, really pure. You feel like you're hitting it off. Let's discuss a romantic relationship, for instance. Let's just break it down in a romantic relationship. It might paint more of a vivid image in your mind. You're really close. You're bonding well. You're feeling great, and then on a given day, they show a streak of nastiness, so subtly, but just an ever so slight streak of nastiness. And it will turn you cold, Or maybe not cold's not the right thing, but it will take you off guard. It will knock you back a few steps, And you'll be quite shocked. This happens in normal relationships as well, because even non-narcissistic relationships, right? Everyone's not on their A game all the time. People can get hurt, feelings can get hurt. So that can happen in normal relationships, but it's more strategically done with a narcissist. This is premeditated. They've deliberately seen that your boundaries have come down, you've opened up to them, and you'll see a streak of nastiness in their behavior. So on one side of things, they're giving off this sense of security, which is actually a false sense of security. They're making you feel like you can trust them. They're making you be open. They're love bombing you. And then on a given day, it could have been after you had a really nice night or a really nice evening with them or whatever. Then they act cold, distant, and it confuses you, right? So you, as an empath and a chosen one, being unawakened that you was at the time, now you're awakened, right? But being unawakened like you was at the time, you might start to look within, you see? And this will make you start to look within and think there's a problem within you. You actually won't connect the dots, so to speak, and see that they're the problem. Especially at that time. It's it's clear and obvious that it's them, looking back in retrospect. If you look back in retrospect now, you can clearly see that it was them. They were doing manipulative behavior. They had a streak of nastiness. They were trying to knock you back a few steps. But at the time, you really don't see it that way. You really don't see it that way. And you'll probably start to look within or think, what did you do wrong? Or what could you do better to make them feel happier? And you want them to come back to themselves. You want it to be like it is before, but that's the start of the downfall. That's honestly the start of the downfall. And then from then on, you may go back into the so-called security, so-called love bomb, but there will be these little increments through the course of the relationship that affect your insecurities, that don't make you feel so complete. And it's like you won't be able to decipher what is really happening to you. They're literally trying to break you down. They're trying to make you confused. And I wrote some notes on this. Let me just refresh my mind and look at the notes. Bear with me 1 second. It's like mixed messages in the narcissistic relationships. So basically, they're saying one thing and behaving in another way. And this is why you feel confused, because they're saying one thing and behaving in another way. And maybe these are just actions. They might not even be words. They could be words. It could be actions, just in the way that they're behaving with you. So, let me think of something off the top of my head, right? Naturally in relationships, I don't want you to give you a false, naturally in relationships, in romantic relationships, it's like, it's not always going to be at your beck and call that the person answers their phone or responds to your messages. And you need to accept that. You need to have patience with one another. Both of you have lives to live, especially before you come one unit and say you're united under one roof or something like that. But, you might have a job to do. They might have a job. You might be busy. You might be with your family. They might be with their family. They might be doing something with their friends. You might be doing something with your friends. So it's not like you're going to have that instantaneous contact all the time, right? But for example, the way the narcissist will do something is, you could have been planning to meet up, right? Just for example, you could have been planning to meet up. They don't answer your calls. But it's not that they're busy. It's not that they're busy. It's not that they've got anything to do. They're sitting there watching you ring their phone. They're sitting there, deliberately not answering the phone, or deliberately not answering your text. And you're looking at the watch or looking at your phone time and thinking, hold on, like, you said you're going to meet up at such and such a time, like, and you're getting confused and you get insecurities, and then you start thinking the worst thoughts and you start getting unsure in yourself. And this is all the mixed messages that they do. But it's a deliberate attempt to knock your self-esteem and to make you feel insecure. They want to break you down. Because you've got to realize one thing. They saw how strong you was when they met you. They knew how strong you was. Your influence in their life when you first met them, right? I'm talking about romantic relationships here, and it can happen in other circumstances. But when you first met them, they saw how much of a powerful, strong influence you had on them, right? You was unawakened, so you didn't really know how special you actually was as an empath and chosen one. You didn't realize how special you actually was. But they saw it in you. And they wanted to destroy that. They wanted to take that away from you. They wanted to steal your light. They wanted to steal your power. They wanted you to become codependent upon them. They wanted to break you down bit by bit, chipping away at this bit, chipping away at that bit. They like to destroy things. This is what pleases them. They don't want you to be that strong influence that you once was. As much as they found it admirable, as much as they found it attractive, they did. They did. They liked it. But then they like to destroy that very thing that pleases them or makes them feel... makes them, the way they feel your power and your energy, they want you to be broken and kind of messed up. So you just pour your energy into them in another way, maybe in a negative fashion, So for example, like that example I gave where they confuse you, they try to confuse you with mixed messages like not answering their phone or something like that. That makes you unsure of yourself, and it might make you start pouring out to them or ringing them a couple times or sending some messages through, and it's all supply for them, right? Maybe I haven't broke this down well enough, but I want you to try and interpret what I said, like these narcissists involved in your life, they cause confusion in you, right? And what you've got to understand now is after awakening, yes, you may be in the fog. Yes, you may still be slightly confused. Yes, you may be in hurt. Yes, you may be in pain. But there's something you figured out. And that's you figured out you're dealing with a narcissist involved in your life. You've actually figured that out now, right? That's the important thing. You figured that part out, right? So what you got to understand is you can't rationalize realistically, theoretically, with the comprehension that you have as an empath. You can't really rationalize their behavior or normalize their behavior. Their behavior is irrational, it's radical, it's weird, they're dusty weirdos, and they do all of these little increments through the course of the relationship to try and break you down. That's ultimately what they wanted you to do. You're still thinking about the perfect world that you lived in, the beautiful bond, the relationship you shared, how things worked well. You're still addicted to that. Maybe you're not now and you've got over that, but some of you may still be addicted to that. Or that will put you in confusion even after the narcissistic relationship has ended with the narcissist involved in your life. You know, if you still dwell on the so-called good times, inverted commas. Now, I haven't said this for a very long time, but I used to say this quite frequently. Being involved with a narcissist involved in your life, I'm going a bit off topic here, but it makes sense. It's like a mountain. It's like climbing a mountain. You've got to understand that at that perfect time, some of you may not understand this, but some of you will. The analogy. When you first meet the narcissist involved in your life in a romantic relationship, for example, and everything's great, you're actually at your lowest point in existence. You may not feel like it. You may not realize it. But you're actually at the bottom of the mountain. And as you ascend and climb and go through the pain and the little increments that they pour in with the doubt and the confusion and the devaluation and all that stuff, and you eventually climb to the peak of the mountain. At the peak of the mountain, you're at your most hurtful place. You're hurt, you may be crying, uncontrollable tears, can't eat, can't sleep, can't think straight, you're in the fog. But you've woken up to narcissistic abuse. You're educating yourself on content like this and other content alike. And it's at that point that you realize that journey that you've gone on, you've got to the highest point that you can possibly get to. You've woken up to narcissistic abuse. And it's about you taking and starting a new journey and a new climb on a new mountain by yourself and ascending in that way and healing and evolving and growing and developing. And leaving that journey you completed and understand that you ain't climbing no higher with them on that mountain. You leave them alone, you get on with your life, and you focus on your healing and you continue a new climb. Right? That's what it's all about. Maybe that doesn't make sense to you, but I want you to try and interpret what I said there. You know, you just got to understand that at the lowest point of the mountain, when times were good, when you thought things were working well, things were great, that was your lowest point in existence because you was asleep. And the hardest time, so to speak, when you're in pain and hurting and you've awoken, is actually your highest point. And you've just got to start a new journey now of healing, right? So just understand that through this relationship with this narcissist involved in your life, they cause doubt, they cause confusion, and their ultimate reason for doing this is to break you down, to make you insecure, to make you think they're doing things, to make you think, you know, that they can't, like, so one side of things, they're making you feel like you can trust them. And then the other side of things, they're making you feel like you can't trust them, you know, and you can't see that they're doing that. You still trust them, but you don't know why you have these feelings of distrust. And you look within and blame yourself. That's ultimately what they want you to do. They want you to blame yourself. They want you to be insecure. They want to destroy your self-love, your self-esteem. It's a very confusing, complex thing that the narcissist involved in your life has done to you and what you've been through, right? So just prioritize healing. prioritize healing, and everything will be all right. It will all work out for the best. It will all work out for the best. You don't need to worry about a thing. You know, honestly, healing is really the most beautiful thing you can do. You have been through abuse. You need to realize you're a victim of abuse. And what you got to understand, and maybe this video will help, is you've got to navigate past the snakes to eventually find your soulmate. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about that, click this video here. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.